How are you doing today? If someone asks you this question, you might quickly answer, I'm fine. Or maybe you say, I'm okay, or I don't know. These are easy answers, and honestly, we use them all the time. They are simple, short, and they stop the conversation from going deeper. We often use them when we are busy or when we do not want to share our true feelings with others. It just feels safer to give a simple answer because it keeps our inner world private. It is a habit we learn early in life, a quick way to respond without having to think too much about the real, more complex answer. Using just a few words for our emotions is like trying to paint a beautiful picture with only black and white paint. Imagine trying to show a bright sunny day or a deep quiet forest using only two colors. You would miss all the beautiful details and the true feeling of the scene. When we say we are just mad or sad, we are doing the same thing to our feelings. We are simplifying something that is actually very rich and complex. This makes it hard for us to truly understand what is happening inside ourselves. We miss the important information that our feelings are trying to give us. This habit of using simple emotion words can limit our self-awareness. If you only know the word sad, you might not see the difference between feeling a little disappointed and feeling completely hopeless. These are very different experiences and, they require different responses. When we cannot name our feelings with more specific words, we lose the chance to understand ourselves better. We might not know why we feel a certain way or what we need to do to feel better. It is like being lost in a new city without a map. You know you are somewhere, but you do not know exactly where or how to get where you want to go. Think about a time you felt a strong emotion but could not find the right words to describe it. Maybe you felt a mix of things at once, like excitement and nervousness before a big event. If you just say I feel weird, you are not giving yourself a clear picture of your inner state. You are also making it difficult for others to understand and support you. This lack of a good emotional vocabulary keeps us stuck. We repeat the same patterns because we cannot see the subtle differences in our emotional experiences. Breaking this habit is the first step toward gaining more control over our emotional lives and building stronger connections with others. Emotions are a lot like colors. We have primary colors like red, yellow, and blue. In the world of feelings, our primary emotions are families like sadness, anger, fear, joy, and shame. But just as there are many shades of blue, from a light sky blue to a deep navy blue, there are also many shades within each emotion family. Each shade tells a slightly different story about what we are experiencing. Learning to see these different shades helps us paint a more accurate picture of our inner world. This allows us to see our feelings not as big, scary monsters, but as messages with important details. Let's explore some of these emotion families and their different shades. For the sadness family, the feelings can range from light to dark. A light shade might be feeling disappointed when something you hoped for does not happen. A deeper shade could be feeling discouraged when you face a setback. A very dark shade would be feeling hopeless, which is a heavy and overwhelming kind of sadness. Each word gives us a more specific idea of the intensity and cause of the feeling. Naming the specific shade helps us understand just how much something is affecting us. The anger family also has many different shades. A light shade of anger is annoyance, like when someone is tapping their pen loudly while you are trying to focus. A stronger feeling might be frustration, which happens when you are blocked from reaching a goal. A much more intense shade is rage, a powerful and often destructive form of anger. Similarly, the fear family includes feelings like apprehension, which is a mild worry about the future, and anxiety, a more persistent feeling of unease. At the darkest end of the spectrum is terror, an extreme and paralyzing fear. Even positive emotions like joy have different shades. You might feel content, which is a calm and peaceful kind of happiness. A brighter shade is excitement, a high-energy feeling you get before a fun event. A very deep and meaningful form of joy is elation, that feeling of pure, soaring happiness when you achieve something wonderful. And the shame family includes feeling embarrassed over a small mistake, or feeling guilty when you know you have done something wrong. By learning these words, we start to build a better vocabulary for our hearts. Using more precise words for our emotions does more than just make us sound smarter. It fundamentally changes how we understand ourselves and interact with the world around us. When you can name a feeling accurately, you can start to investigate its cause. If you feel envious instead of just bad, you can recognize that you want something someone else has. This clarity helps you think about your own goals and what you can do to achieve them. Naming the emotion is the first step toward managing it. It moves you from being a passenger in your emotional life to being the driver. This skill, known as emotional granularity, helps us make better decisions. Imagine you are offered a new job. You might feel a mix of emotions. If you just say, "I feel stressed," you might turn down the opportunity. But if you can identify that you feel apprehensive about the new responsibilities but also excited about the potential for growth, you can make a more balanced choice. You can address the apprehension by asking for more information or training while still embracing the excitement. Precise words give you the data you need to navigate complex situations with wisdom and confidence. Let's look at a real-life example. Sarah was talking to her friend Mark about a difficult week at work. At first she said, "I'm just so mad at my boss." This was a very general statement. Mark asked her to be more specific. After thinking for a moment, Sarah said, "Actually, I feel undermined. He presented my idea in the meeting as his own." The word undermined changed the entire conversation. It was no longer about general anger. It was about feeling disrespected and unvalued. This helped Mark understand the real problem, and he could offer more specific and helpful support. By using the word undermined, Sarah also understood her own feelings better. She realized her anger was coming from a place of feeling invisible and that her hard work was not being recognized. This new understanding helped her decide what to do next. Instead of just staying angry, she could think about how to address the situation with her boss in a calm and professional way. This is the power of a precise emotional vocabulary. It turns a big, messy feeling into a clear problem that you can begin to solve. It gives you agency over your emotional well-being. Building your emotional vocabulary is a skill, and like any skill, it gets stronger with practice. You can start with a very simple exercise. Each day, take a moment to check in with yourself. Ask, "What is one word that best describes how I am feeling right now?" Try to go beyond simple words like happy, sad, or fine. Look for a more specific word. Are you feeling serene instead of just happy? Are you feeling pensive instead of just quiet? You can even write the word down in a journal. The goal is not to judge the feeling but simply to name it. This daily practice will slowly build your awareness. At first it might feel difficult to find the right word. You can use an emotion wheel or a list of feeling words to help you. Over time you will start to notice the subtle shifts in your emotions throughout the day. You will begin to see the many different colors of your inner experience. This simple habit of naming your feelings creates a small space between what you feel and how you react. In that space lies your power to choose your response, rather than letting your emotions control you without your permission. As you get better at naming your own feelings, you will also get better at understanding the feelings of others. You will start to hear the emotional details in what people say. When a friend says they are stressed, you might be able to ask questions that help them find a more specific word, just as Mark did for Sarah. This will deepen your connections and make you a more compassionate friend, partner, and colleague. Understanding the language of emotion is key to building strong, trusting relationships with the people who matter most in your life. Your emotional world is vast and full of rich detail. Do not limit yourself to living in a black and white landscape. By learning and using a wider range of emotion words, you are giving yourself the gift of self-understanding and a more vibrant life. It is a journey of discovery that never truly ends. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep giving yourself permission to feel. Each new word you learn is like adding a new color to your palette, allowing you to paint a more complete and beautiful picture of your life, one feeling at a time.